Hi, Thu. I want to congratulate you on your upcoming marriage to Chum. I'm excited for you. I'm happy for you. I'm so happy that you have found the person that you want to spend your life with and that you're beginning your life together. I'm thinking of you at this time, and I would like to offer you a few pieces of advice, a few thoughts about marriage that I hope will help you get started off on the right foot in your marriage. So these are 3 tips that I want to offer you about marriage. Tip number 1, differences. You have known Chum and his family for a long time, and this is wonderful. It's the best way to start out with someone, knowing him really well. At the same time, Chum is different than you. He's a different person, and he's different than your family. And marriage is going to exaggerate and highlight these differences. This sometimes can be frustrating or even a little scary. You have a precious, priceless bond with your mom, your siblings, your nieces and nephews, and this will never be lost. You will have this always. But now you need to make a home with Chum, a new and different home, a home that isn't going to look the same as the home you knew growing up exactly. You will still have your family, but Chum is now your new home. This is okay. This is a normal part of marriage and growth. You will have difficult conversations. The more you lean into these conversations instead of retreating and avoiding, the better the conversations will go. Life is difficult. Marriage is difficult. You will have good times and bad times. You should recognize and appreciate the good times and accept and lean into the difficult times. Walk through the challenges with your eyes open and with courage. Tip number 2, balance. You and Chum will not always see things the same way. Sometimes the right thing to do is to say nothing and accept the difference. Other times, the right thing to do is to speak up and say what you think and feel that's different. The choice of which one to do is sometimes hard. And as you walk down this middle of the path, you will always be learning how to do this balance better. It will never be perfect. You will make mistakes, and that's okay. Just think of it like yin and yang. And what you're trying to do is find the chi, walking the middle ground. Tip number 3, assume goodwill. Assume goodwill. I had a coworker who wrote this on her whiteboard in her office, assume goodwill. She said, if you begin all conversations assuming that the other person means well, has good intentions in saying what they do, you will understand them better and reach agreement more quickly. When you assume goodwill, you save a lot of wasted time in misunderstanding. You're listening and responding instead of going off on some wrong direction. This is especially a challenge, I believe, in marriage because we all bring expectations to the relationships. You love Chum and he loves you. You know he's a good person and he knows you're a good person. But you will expect him to speak and act in certain ways because that's how you imagine someone should act if they love you. But your husband is his own person and he can't read your mind. He will often not act the way you imagine that he should, even though he loves you and wants to make you happy. That's where the assume goodwill comes in. So that's where you need to assume goodwill and let go of your expectations and just try to understand him. So in addition to those 3 basic tips, tip number 1, differences. Tip number 2, balance. Tip number 3, assume goodwill. I have a couple of miscellaneous comments. 1 is humor. Have humor. This is a wonderful tool to strengthen your bond and increase happiness. 2, keeping perspective. My coworker is married to a nurse. When he comes home from work and complains about his day, she asks him, "Did anyone die today? No? Then it was a good day." So that's a good example of keeping perspective on what's important and what matters. Another miscellaneous tip is be direct. Always ask directly but kindly for what you want. Men don't like hints. So get his attention and ask directly for what you want. Then let it go and don't keep repeating it. So those are some miscellaneous comments and ideas that I wanted to share with you, Sue. I love you. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm excited for your marriage. Best of luck going forward. And that's it.